Well, back to the drawing board, as they say, a bit. Um, we've had some challenges with our worm farm being underneath the guinea pigs. It's just not working out. It's too wet. The worms stay at the bottom all the time. They're not really, there's too much excrement coming out, and the worms can't keep up. Part of it's because we don't have enough worms. It's okay, granted, but we're getting more worms tomorrow. We get another 2,000, and we're reevaluating the whole thing. So I've changed the compost pile back to a compost pile underneath the guinea pigs, and we're going to separate the worms and feed them only compost that's fully composted. And this seems to be the best plan. That's what most of the big commercial places are doing, and so that's kind of where we're headed. Anyway, we're going to reuse this tank, or half tank, that I had under a part of the guinea pigs cage. And I was looking at how I was going to reutilize it outside of the compost area, and I came across these pipes. And these pipes are used in Ecuador, all across South America, actually. You can see that they're up here. They're used, and they usually put electric fencing. Our electric fencing hasn't been put up yet, but anyway, that's usually what it's done for security. They put up an electric fence, and they put it up above the concrete block. So that's these pipes. We have a whole bunch of them. You can see over there under the little shed, we have a whole bunch of pipes and wire and everything that the electrician never did put together yet. So I said, hey, let's try to use those, or let's see what we can do. And they're about 1 meter high, so they're perfect. And two of them come together, and they make a nice little connection here. And as you can maybe tell, hey, that looks kind of like legs. Yes, it does. And here's a couple of them that are attached. And I went ahead and reused the electrical connectors and everything. But the legs just come out real great. And I think it's going to work just fine to have a nice little stand. And all I did was just drill holes into the tank and attach those with the little nuts. I need to tighten them up. And if I get enough space there, I'll double nut them. But if not, oh well, you know, it's going to be okay. But this will be our new worm bin tomorrow. I'll fill it with paper and stuff, and no, I'm not going to wash it out, in case anybody's saying, oh, it's really filthy. Well, the worms don't care, and that's a little bit of extra food for them. And so we'll put bedding in the bottom, and then probably I'll put a screen, a little bit bigger screen. I've had just a small screen over the drain plug, which is over here. There's a little drain plug there, and the worms just congregated around the screen, and it was always super wet. And I know they like wet, but still, I think the problem was we were getting too much fresh stuff, and they could never keep up. So we're going to see what happens with this. We're going to separate some of the worms into the other half of the tank that we had that's underneath the guinea pigs still, and then we're going to put some in here. Hey, you know, a lot of this is just testing things out, but what these videos here are all about is you're seeing what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and how we're changing things all around. So hope you're enjoying the videos. Please subscribe if you haven't, and you know, thanks for watching. Well, I got my new half barrel stand with a worm bin, and it's working real well. If you saw the video on how I was trying to construct that, I wound up having to move this particular leg. I just dropped the hole. I had it a little too high, and as I dropped it, it brought this corner up, and it made this level, and actually just a little bit of an angle, and that's where the hole is that I'd had already. So I'm real happy with that. Now we've been tearing apart egg cartons today, and you can see here's kind of one that's big, but we just did a bunch of egg cartons and tore them into smaller pieces, and then now we fill this up. I don't know, we put probably a dozen of them in there, and so now I'm wetting it down, and they just brought in a bunch of eggs, so I just crushed those. Now I just crush them with my hands. I crush them between my hands, kind of hard to show because I've only got one hand to show, but anyway, I just crush them up and it comes in here. So now we've got all this eggshell crushed in there, and we've got these egg cartons crushed in there, or put in there. We're ready for some worms to come in, except it needs to be a lot more wet. So what I'm doing is I just got a bucket of water here, and I've poured it through once, and I'll just pour it in on top again, then let it drain, and pour it in on top and let it drain until this stuff gets real wet. And then tomorrow we get our worms.